Botswana. Executive Summary. Botswana is a constitutional, multi-party, republican democracy. Its constitution provides for the indirect election of a president and the popular election of a National Assembly. The Botswana Democratic Party has held a majority in the National Assembly since the nation's founding in 1966. In 2019, President Mokgweetsi Masisi won his first full 5-year term in an election that outside observers deemed free and fair. The Botswana Police Service, which reports to the Ministry of Defense, Justice, and Security, has primary responsibility for internal security. The Botswana Defence Force, which reports to the President through the Minister of Defence, Justice, and Security, has some domestic security responsibilities. The Directorate of Intelligence and Security Services, which reports to the Office of the President, collects and evaluates external and internal intelligence, provides personal protection to high-level government officials, and advises the Presidency and government on matters of national security. Civilian authorities maintained effective control over the security forces. Members of the security forces committed some abuses. In April 2020, at President Masisi's request, the National Assembly passed a 6-month state of emergency as a COVID-19 mitigation measure. The National Assembly, again at the President's request, extended the state of emergency for an additional 6 months in September 2020 and in April. Ostensibly to give the government necessary powers to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic, the terms of the state of emergency included a ban on the right of unions to strike, limits on free speech related to COVID-19, and restrictions on religious activities. It also served as the basis for several lockdowns that forced most citizens to remain in their homes for several weeks to curb the spread of the virus. Opposition groups, human rights organizations, and labor unions argued that the state of emergency powers were too broad, placed too much power in the presidency, and were unnecessarily restrictive. Parliament did not extend the state of emergency beyond September 30th when President Masisi declared it no longer necessary. Significant human rights issues included credible reports of arbitrary or unlawful interference with privacy, serious restrictions on free expression and media, including an unjustified arrest or prosecution of journalists and the existence of criminal slander and libel laws, substantial interference with freedom of association, serious acts of government corruption, and the existence of the worst forms of child labor, including commercial sexual exploitation of children and forced child labor. The government took steps to prosecute officials who committed abuses.